Authorities in Mexico say at least 62 people have been killed following a wave of violence that broke out after the killing of the country's most wanted man.
In Mexico, the army has confirmed the death of one of the country's most feared drug lords, known as El Mencho, caught and killed in a dawn raid.
The feared leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, which is a vast criminal organization which traffics tons and tons of methamphetamine, cocaine and fentanyl into the United States, responsible for scores of murders a year.
Who is El Mencho? That is the name of the alleged cartel leader killed by the Mexican army, and his death has led to chaos across the country. Here's what we know about him.
High up in the harsh Sierra Madre mountains of Mexico, a man with a $15 million bounty on his head takes his final rest. But how does a humble avocado picker from a forgotten town rise to become an untouchable kingpin who outwitted the CIA, the DEA, and two entire governments for more than 10 years? What happened in his last 24 hours rewrites everything you believe about power, loyalty, and the unseen forces controlling the criminal world. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We talk about stories that get the attention they deserve. If this one speaks to you, share it. Let's dive in. His full name is Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes. Most people, though, recognize him as El Mencho. He grew up in a tiny mountain village in Michoacán, hidden away from the modern world. And there were no lights, no proper roads, and it was so isolated that many maps didn't even bother to mark it. He was the fifth born in a family of 6 brothers, with enough to survive. School was not much of a part of his life. He stopped after the 5th grade. While others his age sat in classrooms, he worked under the blazing sun picking avocados in a place called Tierra Caliente, or the Hot Land. This area has always been known for growing 2 things well: avocados and organized crime. 20 years old, he made his way across the border into California. He had no documents, no direction, and nothing but an empty stomach driving him forward. In 1986, police arrested him. He got deported. Then he returned. In 1989, they arrested him again. Deported once more. Still, he came back. By the time 1992 rolled around, though he was 26 years old and selling heroin in San Francisco with his older brother Abraham, one evening, they went into a bar in the Tenderloin to finalize a deal. The buyers handed over money that seemed too perfect, bills that were too clean and stacked. Nemesio studied the cash and warned Abraham. He told him the buyers were cops. They needed to leave. Nemesio was right, but it was already far too late. In court, he made a choice that shaped the next 30 years of his life. Abraham already had 2 felonies on his record. A third would mean life in prison. To protect his brother, Nemesio decided to take the entire blame. He faced the judge, pleaded for leniency, and asked for the lightest sentence possible. The judge gave him 5 years. He served 3 at Big Spring Correctional Center in West Texas. While there, but he observed everything: how law enforcement operated, how it thought, and how its systems could fail. At 31, they deported him to Mexico with a lifetime ban from returning to the United States. In that situation, most men tend to disappear from sight. He chose to become a cop. He became part of the police in Jalisco. He wore the uniform and figured out how things worked on the inside. After some time, he quit the force and joined the Milenio cartel as an enforcer. When that cartel fell apart after 2010, he stayed standing. He chose to fight the Sinaloa cartel, teamed up with his wife's family's money laundering operation, and created something fresh out of the ruins. He named it the Cartel Jalisco New Generation, also known as CJNG. In 10 years, it operated across all 50 states in America and in over 40 other nations. By 2019, The DEA estimated that the cartel controlled around a third of all drugs smuggled into the United States. In 2025, the Trump administration labeled it as a foreign terrorist group. The man who once picked avocados in Michoacan now controlled an empire bigger than the economies of many countries. Yet, no one knew where he was. El Chapo aimed to be a legend, while El Mencho preferred to vanish like a ghost. He avoided interviews, photos, or public appearances. There are fewer than 3 verified pictures of him, and all of them are old and unclear. Silence and layers of security surrounded him at all times. For years, this strategy paid off. In 2015, when the Mexican army arrived, his men used a rocket-propelled grenade to bring down a military helicopter, giving him enough time to escape. That same year, CJNG left a statement by killing 24 police officers over 6 weeks. Not in fights, but as deliberate warnings. He seemed unstoppable, hidden from sight. Yet, no kingdom lasts forever. His health was about to show the first signs of weakness. In 2019, Mexican intelligence learned something his rivals had been wishing for. El Mencho's kidneys were failing. The condition was severe, getting worse, and it couldn't be handled in secret without leaving clues behind. Treating it needed dialysis, which called for equipment. Using equipment meant moving around. Movement left traces. But in the world of intelligence, tracking those traces is key. He decided to set up a private medical facility hidden deep in CJNG-controlled land in the isolated village of Aguililla. The place looked like a regular clinic, but was made to treat one person. In February 2025, Mexico's security secretary announced that the kidney disease hadn't gone away. This confirmed the treatment was ongoing. The schedule remained active, unnoticed, yet right out in the open waiting to be uncovered. Then, the violence erupted, making it even tougher to keep things hidden. June 26, 2020. Early morning around 7, Mexico City. On Reforma Avenue, a famous boulevard in Latin America, a group of CJNG gunmen ambushed Omar Garcia Harfuch, the city's police chief. They used grenades and powerful rifles. Garcia Harfuch was hit with 3 bullets, but the attack killed 2 of his bodyguards and an unlucky civilian. Despite his injuries, he lived. From his hospital bed, still wounded and bloody, he went on Twitter and publicly called out, CJNG. He healed. He did not let it go. By 2026, Omar Garcia Harfuch had become Mexico's Secretary of Security. The man CJNG had aimed to kill was now the one leading the search for their leader, El Mencho. As his enemies gained power, his family vanished piece by piece. In November 2024, authorities arrested his son-in-law in Riverside, California. This was the same man El Mencho had once helped stage a fake death to shield him. By February 2025, the U.S. had extradited El Mencho's brother Antonio. Just a day later, Mexican soldiers recaptured his other brother Abraham, the same Abraham he had gone to prison for back in 1992. In March 2025, his son got sentenced to life in a U.S. federal court with an additional 30 years and an order to surrender over $6 billion. His wife, freed from a Mexican prison, was placed under surveillance. Everyone who knew where he was, everyone who kept his money, everyone who might point the way to those mountains, either gone, caught, monitored, or turned against him. The United States increased the bounty on him in December 2024. It went up from $10 million to $15 million, the biggest reward offered for a narco at that time. Deep in the Sierra, his price just soared by 50%. In January 2026, Washington revealed the official start of a joint task force created by multiple agencies. Its one goal was clear: to map cartel operations on both sides of the border and break down their leadership. And at the very top of the target list sat El Mencho. Meanwhile, out of public view, the CIA carried out covert drone missions over Mexico, providing live intelligence straight to Mexican forces. They had put together a detailed target package that included law enforcement reports, intercepted communications, and tips from informants, which were handed over to the Mexican government. This was not just working together. This was an organized manhunt. By the night of February 21st, Mexican Army Special Forces got confirmation about El Mencho's location near Tapalpa. This is a quiet little colonial town nestled in the mountains. They're 2 hours southwest of Guadalajara. It's a spot tourists love to take pictures of, but it's also a hub where cartels clean their money. CJNG had been established there for over a decade. El Mencho wasn't there by coincidence. He was there because it had always been his base. Before the clock struck midnight, soldiers began taking their positions. The top officials in both countries gave their approval for the operation. We might never find out how they tracked him down. Was it a tip from someone he trusted? Maybe someone decided $15 million was better than sticking by a fading leader. Could it have been intercepted signals? A phone call? A radio transmission? Or some communication mistake that exposed him? Or maybe it was tied to his medical care. Dialysis equipment isn't easy to hide, and word tends to spread. Or was it one of his close allies caught, pressured, and given the choice between prison and betrayal? The Mexican Ministry of Defense hasn't revealed anything. Neither has the CIA. Nobody's talking. Here's one thing we do know. According to the official statement from Mexico's Ministry of Defense, their mission was to take him alive. That's not how it happened. Mexican Army Special Forces advanced from different directions all at once. National Guard troops secured the area around the target. Planes from the Mexican Air Force hovered above. Agents working under the Attorney General's office joined the mission as part of the intel team. This wasn't some operation thrown together on the spot. They had spent months planning for this one event at night. As soon as the soldiers stormed the compound, CJNG gunmen began shooting. A fierce gunfight erupted in the Sierra, lasting for a significant amount of time. Soldiers killed 4 CJNG members on the spot, arrested 2 others, and found 3 more injured. As soon as the gunfire ceased, they swept through the area and uncovered a stash of powerful weapons. Hidden in the mountains like a military stockpile, they found armored vehicles, rocket launchers that could take out aircraft, and heavy weaponry. Amid the chaos and ruins of the battle, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho, was found injured and captured. The infamous figure was now in Mexican custody. The firefight also left 3 members of Mexico's armed forces injured. Standard procedures in a case this big meant one thing: get him to Mexico City right away. Or they got a military plane ready on the spot. El Mencho, injured and losing blood, was taken on board. He never made it. The same man who spent over 10 years outsmarting governments around the world died mid-air, taken into custody by the same military he had defied for years. The guy who took down a military helicopter with a rocket launcher in 2015 to avoid capture was taken on board a military aircraft. This time, he didn't survive the flight. Meanwhile, in Mexico City, Omar Garcia Harfuch, the man CJNG tried to kill in 2020 with 3 bullets on Reforma Avenue, grabbed his phone. He posted just 4 words on X. "We acknowledge the Mexican Army and Air Force. No speeches, no flashy press events, no cameras flashing. Just 4 simple words spoken by the man who had waited 6 long years to hear them." Then chaos erupted across Mexico. But in a matter of hours, CJNG launched a wave of violent attacks in 6 states. By mid-afternoon, there were already 21 highway blockades burning across Jalisco. Vehicles were set on fire in Jalisco, Michoacán, Colima, Tamaulipas, Guanajuato, and Aguascalientes. Governor Pablo Lemus Navarro declared a code red state of emergency. Public transport stopped running, schools shut down, authorities told people to stay inside for safety. Guadalajara fell silent. A city with 5 million residents set to host FIFA World Cup matches in June 2026 turned into a deserted place in just one afternoon. Gunmen stormed the international airport. Passengers left their bags behind and ran through the terminals. Airlines like Delta, Alaska, American Airlines, Southwest, and Air Canada called off all flights heading to Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara. Such chaos followed as a riot erupted in a Puerto Vallarta prison, where a prison guard lost their life. The U.S. State Department told American citizens in 5 Mexican states to find safe shelter. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt said from Washington that U.S. intelligence gave assistance to the Mexican government. Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau described El Mencho as one of the most violent and merciless drug lords in history. He also stated that the good guys are stronger than the bad guys. In Guadalajara, streets stayed deserted while fires kept burning. Here's the big question no one has answered yet. What will happen to CJNG? Experts agree on one point: it survives. El Mencho created a system that spreads out power on purpose. Local cells function with a lot of independence, ensuring that a single death or arrest won't destroy everything. The group is too rooted, too varied, and operates on a global level, making it impossible to vanish just because its leader dies. Vanda Felbab Brown from the Brookings Institution explained it. Aside from the leaders of the Sinaloa cartel, El Mencho was the most wanted target for years. A lot of violence is likely to come next. One name keeps popping up in intelligence chatter as a possible successor: Abraham Oseguera Cervantes, also called El Yogurt. He is 29 years old and operates in Michoacán, leading a CJNG Special Forces unit tied to El Mencho's personal security team. He survived a big raid by the Mexican Navy in 2025. He has brought former Colombian and Guatemalan military members into his group. Of course, this hasn't been confirmed, but it's the name whispered in circles where such things are talked about. We have seen this kind of situation before in history. After El Chapo's capture, the Sinaloa cartel did not fall apart. It broke into pieces. Different groups fought each other. Violence grew as they battled to fill the gap left behind. Taking out the leader sparked a fight over his territory. CJNG, which operates in 40 countries and across every U.S. state, now faces an even larger power void to battle over. Claudia Sheinbaum had emphasized this point for years. The kingpin strategy fails. Taking down the leader of a cartel does not destroy it, but instead makes it grow. She made this clear even before she took office. Her security approach revolved around this belief. But still facing constant pressure from the Trump administration to show tangible progress in the fight against drug trafficking, she approved the operation that led to the most significant kingpin takedown in the history of the Western Hemisphere. By midnight, all over the world, news channels were showing burning highways, abandoned airport terminals, and a deserted city that was set to host the World Cup in 4 months. The president had argued that killing cartel leaders was not the right plan, yet she had just authorized the killing of the most powerful cartel leader alive. And now, she saw her warning unfolding on every screen across the nation. And so, everything circles right back to the start. A bar in San Francisco in 1992. A 26-year-old man stands before a federal judge. He accepts a prison sentence to shield his older brother Abraham. He gives up his own freedom out of loyalty. He walks into Big Spring Correctional Center, ensuring someone he loves doesn't spend their life in a cell. Fast forward 33 years. As the intelligence operation against El Mencho reaches its final stages, that same brother is captured. On February 28, 2025, the Mexican army arrests Abraham, the brother he once sacrificed for, the brother who couldn't save him. He had nothing at the start, no paved roads in his village, a 5th grade education, just avocado fields in Michoacán. Yet, he created an empire that reached over 40 countries. He was behind a third of the drugs smuggled into the United States. Two governments spent 10 years and $15 million trying to track him down. And he even took the fall and went to jail in place of his brother. But on a quiet Sunday morning in February, in the Jalisco mountains, his story came to an end. He didn't survive the shootout.